Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of On the Range Podcast with Warhawk Tactical and Kelly Defense. Wherever you are, thank you for making us part of your day. I am Mark Kelly, and as always, joining me today is Rick Hogg. How's it going, buddy?
Man, Mark, it is going great. I am super excited for some big things we got going on at Warhawk Tactical Kelly Defense.
Big news.
I don't think we're quite there yet to make the full claim to what we got going on, but I'm going to tell you this, guys, it's going to be revolutionary. So the only way to find out, swing by warhawk.com, kellydefense.com, sign up for those newsletters. Trust me, you guys are looking at the media team, so you will not be inundated with a bunch of stuff. We'll keep you definitely up to date on what we got going on. Thank you for giving us your most precious commodity, your time to tune in, and do us a huge favor. Leave us a rating, review, comments, all that other good stuff, because that's the only way we're going to beat this big tech algorithm. Or maybe we've got to ace up our sleeve. We don't know. And the only way you'll know is by signing up for those newsletters. So yeah, things are going great. We've been super busy trying to get some stuff in the works, and man, I am looking forward to what's going to happen in 2025, because I'm here to tell you guys, it's going to be big.
You know what, Rick? It's been a while since we had a show, and we did the recap after the election, and it didn't really go exactly the way I thought it was going to go. You called it pretty much straight on, and with the exception of California and New York, but you almost got New York. But some interesting things have been happening. You know, the first thing, a lot of people are talking about is the cabinet positions are rolling out in record time. He obviously had those picked probably the week prior to in the event that they did make it, which they were fairly confident that they were going to, by how quickly they're coming out. And I know there was some talk about some Senate recess appointees, but I think they're not going to do that. They're going to try to run them through. That way it's legitimized, where there's no, it'd still be legitimized, but there would be no question. It would give the opportunity to the Senate to also get in on the mandate, in which was apparent, given to the incoming president after the popular vote. Not only did he win the Electoral College, he won the popular vote by over 5 million votes. And they're still counting some in California and Pennsylvania, which, by the way, is a whole nother show, completely unacceptable. But what we've really been watching, I'm going to start with one, because this is a little bit more fun. I think it's going to kick this show off, to the moon. And it is the immediate sigh of relief. The immediate sigh of relief when the election was over the very next day. Not so much a who won or the outcome. I think everybody's like, okay, convincing win. It's done. It is what it is. The American people have truly spoken unquestionably. Did you get that feeling for the next day?
I did. And here's what I also got. I got this feeling, right? You're going to have your small amount of your boo-hooers, right? But I got more overwhelming that, yes, the numbers showed, still Kamala got some votes in there. But people are happy, man. Let's think about it for a minute. You've got NFL teams doing the Trump dance. You've got collegiate teams doing the Trump dance, right? You've got guys giving up their UFC title belts to Trump. You can already feel the country coming together, right? Yet we almost had about a 50-50 split, right? So that's and it was funny, because Rogan made a comment that he had all these celebrities that thanked him for endorsing, because they couldn't do it publicly, because they'd get shamed or shunned or whatever,
or fired,
and whatever, right?
Whatever.
Cancel culture. It's ridiculous that when you look at these, and I'm going to do my air quotes for those of you listening, elites, right? Dude, they don't have their freedoms. Cool, you got a boatload of cash. Whoopie ding. Cool, you're doing things to children you shouldn't be doing. Okay, that's a whole nother topic, right? But they're not happy people, man. They can't go out there and go, not that I give 2 cents who any of these celebs endorse, because I don't really care. You're not driving my factor. I'm drawing my own conclusions. But really, for them to call Rogan and go, thanks, because I can't say or vote the way I want to, man, sorry, you probably should just turn your stuff in, take your cash, what you got, and go live a happy life, because sure doesn't sound like that. So biggest thing is you're seeing the country come together, right? And I think people are super excited. They're excited to see Musk come in there and clean house, because what's that going to do? It's going to reduce our debt, right? It's going to get this government swamp and drain that bad boy. Half the out there, FEMA, dude, that organization needs to be restructured. Some of the crap they were doing. Oh, if you see Trump signs, don't go help out those people. Really? Yeah. They're still Americans at the end of the day. I mean, if somebody had, hey, I'm a dumbass with the Biden Harris sticker on their bumper, right? And they were having some car dramas, I'm still going to stop. I'm not going to blow them off and go, yeah, there you go. Tommy. That's the part is we have segregated ourselves as Americans. We put all these subtitles in there, whatever you want to pick and stick in there, dude. At the end of the day, I'm an American. You're an American. Whoever's listening, barring you're here in the United States, you're an American here legally, of course, United States resident, not some jamoke jump on the border. But you're starting to see that, and I think the more we can get away and just call ourselves Americans, the better off we're going to be, the tighter we're going to get. And dude, I'm telling you, this presidency is probably going to go down in epic proportions as number one, uniting the country. Elon's going to go on as probably the biggest advocate for free speech, although I still can't get Twitter, X, whatever you want to say, to work for me. But if you got any tips, let me know. But it's great to see the country come together. And here's going to be the thing. But last thing, and then I'm going to give you that. I'll pass the torch back to you, buddy. Dude, when he comes in on the 20th, I want to see how quickly them gas prices come down. Because when you start saving at the pump, man, it's going to bring everything else down. So super, super excited.
Yeah, I think what really started to happen, and it started picking up momentum where people felt good about the message that Donald Trump was saying, was twofold, I think. One, it had gone so long where normal, when I say normal, not the elites, when people who go to work every day just want to raise a family, just want to have kids, want to get married, they want to, hang out with their friends, they want to go on vacations, they want to do all these things. Those folks started seeing how separated and how out of touch some of these folks were. That started happening at the end when they were really opening the floodgates to the border, when prices over the last 18 months have really started going up and haven't slowed down, and there's no sight in them coming down. People start saying, hey, wait a minute. And then they didn't talk about it in the campaign, didn't even bring it up. She just says, I worked at McDonald's. I used to do this. I used to do that. Never said one way that how she's going to bring them down. She's going to tell somebody else to bring them down by, squeezing it to the corporation. She wasn't saying what she was going to do. She was going to put it to somebody. It's somebody else's fault, and all these other things.
Oh, it's your opportunity. It's an opportunity economy. Right. I still don't know what that means.
Still don't know what that means. So when that happened, and then all of a sudden you start seeing these elites getting up there and telling you, if you don't vote, then you're not this gender. If you don't vote, all these people, the campaign just was it was the epitome of what all these things that they're feeling is.
Well, here's the thing, Mark, right? Here's what they tried to do. And this is the part they failed to realize. The American people are smarter. You pulled one over during the old China virus. It was a classic play of fear-based campaigning. Oprah getting up there, which, oh, by the way, old girlfriend got paid, I think, $1 million or whatever, right? To go, if you vote for Donald Trump, you'll never vote again.
Yeah.
But girlfriend, people I don't know if you've ever read the Constitution, right? And oh, by the way, what keeps tyranny in check? Our Second These people are so freaking dumb. They want to take your guns, don't even understand why, but they can't even articulate what's going on or even say things that make any sense. And it was a complete fear-based, just like COVID. But when you look at COVID, right, like all these things are starting to unravel, right? Oh, get up there and shame people into getting the vax. Well, the vax didn't work, you know?
Yeah. One thing I wanted to point out to and give a shout out to is I think the second piece, besides the elites and then the Democratic Party, going so far to the left, and then the media just, being in the View, like the girls on the View and all these stuff, just spitting out hate.
No, the View. Hang on, we're going to come back to the View.
Remind me. We're going to come back to the View. Yeah, for sure. But I'm going to kick a shout out to the alternative media sources, and I'm going to throw On the Range podcast in there because it's not just Joe Rogan. Okay.
No,
it's not just, Theo Vaughn. It's not just Sean Ryan. It's not just those. All these channels who have 200 a video, 300 a video, 1,500 a video, all these channels who are talking about this stuff and saying, hey, look, I don't hate Kamala Harris. I just can't stand her politics. And they're on the other side saying, well, that's a racist. You're racist.
Yeah.
Okay. All that stuff happened. And everybody's like, hey, wait a minute. I feel exactly the way this person does. This isn't working for me, and they're not hearing me. And then everybody's just reaffirming it. Tim Pool, all those guys.
But see, here I want to hit two things, Mark, right? So you hit a key nail on the head. So we had one of our election shows, and some of the comments that came in, we were fascist. Oh, we're fascist, right? And I was polite, so I'm not going to get into a big conversation with the troll. It's like, hey, dude, well, what's a fascist? Oh, you do your own research. Oh, great. And then we had another guy report us as misinformation. For my listeners, that was air quoted, right? Misinformation. Because we said, hey, what has Kamala done? Nothing. And I merely asked, well, cool. Number one, I'm confused on your misinformation because First Amendment says I can freedom of speech, right? There's no, you can't say misinformation. I'm free to say whatever I want. That's why I don't agree with this whole misinformation thing. But I was like, hey, tell me one of her accomplishments. What do I got? Nothing. Oh, yeah. You go look it up. Well, how can you even argue? Right. That was like, Elon was on a live with BBC, and he's got this reporter on there going, well, since you've taken over, Twitter, X, whatever, I've seen an increase in hate speech. He's like, give me an example. Couldn't. Right. It like these cats can't give you, they've just been propagandaized with words, but can't give you nothing. Hate speech. Well, what's hate speech? Right. Yeah. What's your definition of hate speech?
That was a great interview, because I remember one of the quotes and they say it in, they're so good. Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, at just asking questions, not really berating anybody. He just said, what's amazing. And JD Vance is very good at this as well. It is amazing that you are telling me that there's all these examples of hate speech, but you cannot name one tweet, not one. Nope. Because that's amazing to me, because you say this all the time and you can't name one. And that's those type of things. There's another small channel out there where this young guy, African-American kid, really slick, great channel. He said, I'm going to go to a MAGA thing. He's got a MAGA hat on, right? He says, you know what? Everybody is so nice. As a matter of fact, I think he might have had a Kamala Harris hat on. Because everybody is so nice. Because I thought I might be throwing hands. He goes, everybody is so nice. And he goes, I had a blast, I told him, said, yeah, I'm going to vote for, they're like, hey, come over here. We got plenty of room over here, and they're talking about the Trump side. He said, everybody was so nice. Those little videos, those kind of things show that, hey man, maybe these folks are not telling us the truth. I mean, that Sunny Holston on The View, I know you wanted to talk about them.
Sunny, buddy, I love her.
I tell you what.
Listen to me.
Oh, she's great for TV.
No, she's great. She was great for Kamala. And I'll you say your point, and then we're gonna hit this freaking ball out of the park, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, they just kept saying these things, and like, well, they're not really. He's really not going to take away our vote, and as much as they wanted to believe, they kept saying that, this is all about reproductive rights. Dude, it's not even on the ballot. There's some states had it on the ballot and they passed, or they, whatever, the states voted for them.
Yeah.
And people are just like, they're lying to us. We need to start listening to them. And she just dropped the ball. She was terrible. She was a terrible candidate. Joe Biden would have done worse. I think Joe Biden would have done worse. He wasn't, it's not his fault. So
no, but when it comes to the View, right? So I'm gonna shift gears from Sunny to Whoopi real quick, right? So Whoopi straight up lied about a company,
still
right? She tried to throw out the race card. Oh, they didn't serve me. And it comes to find out, oh, no kidding, their boiler was busted. Dude, they're going to take her to the bank, right? They are going to win.
You think she'd be tired of losing these millions of dollars? But, didn't she pay a bunch of, she owes a bunch of money to Kyle Rittenhouse.
It's ridiculous that's the first thing you go to, right? Is throw out the race card. Give me a break. Hey, dude, the boiler's broke. What do you want me to do? As an entrepreneur, check it out. The only thing you see is green money. I don't care who you are, unless you're a commie, right? Then I don't want your money. But, but the bottom line is you want them greenbacks. You're not going to turn somebody away, right? But here's the thing to Sunny, right? She did the greatest play ever on The View. She threw Kamala the biggest beach ball that she could have knocked out of the park, right? And personally, to me, this is what sank her whole campaign. She threw her the softball. Hey, what would you have done different?
Yeah.
And Kamala was like, nothing. Nothing.
Can't think of anything.
To mind. And she even tried to come back. Like she was almost air grabbing her, shaking her, going, really?
I can't think of nothing. And then, oh, dude, that was great.
And I'm like, girlfriend, you can't even pick one thing you would change, right?
No.
Dude, I would have thrown Biden under the bus and I would have been the freaking steamroller just crushing them. Well, I wouldn't have, I don't agree with this, wouldn't have done that, and thrown out my stuff, right? That sank her boat. So to Sunny's credit, she tried to throw her the bone. And granted, I'm not giving, I have got no love for Sunny because she's an absolute anti-American in my opinion. And I'm entitled to say that. So you can check that misinformation block. Check it out. Go to the right there, Constitution of the United States. Fact check that one, huh? First Amendment, fact check. Which again, fact checks need to go because it's all rubbish.
Oh, dude.
Now if I said, hey, and I go back to the Civil War, right? It's all about states' rights. If I go, hey, the Civil War was 1960. Well, I hope somebody goes, no, hey, Rick, it's not really a fact check. It's just kind of correcting. Here's your nose, 18. Oh, my bad. Slip of the tongue. All good. But I digress. But other than that, that was, to me, they pulled the plug out of the boat, dude, and it was done. Yeah. It was done. Forget all her word salad. Forget all that. One simple beach ball pass here, catch, and you drop it. And boom. I mean, because you asked me, hey, dude, hey, Rick, what would you change? Pick, I don't care. Today, tomorrow, yesterday, my whole life. I'm going to throw you more crap out there. Right.
Dude, you could have said anything. Like, I wish I would have listened more to people about this. Could have said anything.
Yeah.
Could have said anything.
Hey, I wish I had a little more horses as the vice president to buck this policy or that policy. Or, hey, I don't agree with this. Right.
Right.
Something. Nope. Nothing comes to mind. And I'm like,
no, she was terrible.
That's kind of like for those that get, in the workforce, if you're going to a job interview, hey, man, give me a con about yourself. Can you look in the mirror and go, well, yeah. Hey, man, sometimes I don't have the best tack. And, dude, I'm going to call it like I see it, and doesn't always get you in the best place. Right. But you need to be able to sit there and talk about yourself. And she could not articulate one point she would have changed. No. Good God, woman. That was the, and that was supposed to be the freaking beach ball pitch from Sunny. And I cannot tell you, for that point there, Sunny will go in history as the best question ever given. Because,
dude, I can't believe they left it in.
That's a valid point.
I can't believe they left it in. They edited everything else.
Well, that's true. That's true. You
Yeah.
know,
But let's talk about the breaking.
by design.
Yeah. Maybe they thought it was good. I mean,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk about this next. But we have some breaking news out of the last couple of days.
Uh-oh.
Dude, we should be like on like regular cable networks. I mean, there's going to be so many jobs open. We could
high production
value stuff. So so anyway, the last couple of days, the big breaking news is, well, let's set it up. Okay. The days following, they had this autopsy. Everybody kept saying that in the media. Oh, we got to do a deep dive. We got to do an autopsy on what happened. Well, dude, what happened is you got shellacked. That's what you got. That's what happened. Now, why that happened, the first couple of days, almost the full week, they didn't understand. Your girls on The View. It's misogyny, it's racism, it's sexism, right?
Well, you had
go ahead.
But I'm going to pause you, buddy. You had let's frame who, and I think the key thing is the media, right?
Oh, this is definitely the legacy media, mainstream,
the legacy
cable
media
news networks.
Because you started having Dems like right after going, yeah, our messaging is poor. We're not doing the right things, right? And we're seeing more of that from the Democratic Party going, oops,
oh yeah,
we
but initially they couldn't, and then there was like Van Jones from CNN. He was just totally lost his mind the first day, and then he comes around because he does actually say some honest stuff. He really does. I hate most of the things that he feels and thinks about politics. I'm sure he's just a great person. I don't know him, but anyway, but Morning Joe, Joe Scarborough, and is it Mika Rosinski or something like that? His wife, who, by the way, I think she was on the fence about this whole far left stuff for a long time. I don't think she was buying it, but anyway, they were having a conversation, and everybody has probably seen this clip where they're talking. Joe Scarborough tells a story where he's coming out of the grocery store and he runs into a guy and he's like, I guess, man, I'm voting for Harris, but we're not going to win. And Joe says, why is that? Well, because butter's over $3 a pound. Or $3, for 4 sticks of butter. And Joe Scarborough, goes to talk, and Mika goes, oh no, it's $7. And he's like, $7? What is it? Framed in gold? That's his quote. He had absolutely no idea. And she's like, oh yeah, depending on where you go, it is $7. That moment right there, fast forward to the very next Monday, they asked for a meeting with President-elect Trump. They went down to Mar-a-Lago, and they used to be friends.
Yeah.
And he has been calling him racist and fascist for all. Now, I don't know what they're going to do, but my point is, and I want to get your take on this. They were going down the road of, we had no idea. It's just racism. It's misogyny. It's all this stuff. It's toxic masculinity. It's all this stuff. They were going down that road. That's why we lost. And now all of a sudden they're starting to turn a corner where it can't be. It absolutely can't be. Now, that's if they're being honest. So now they're saying, hey, we need to open up communication, that's their word, with the president. So what do you think about that? Because you had mentioned, like, CNN, they had turned the corner a little bit there in the last half of the election cycle or the campaign. They had also done a lot of stuff on social media, and they're like on YouTube. They started getting all kinds of hits. They were saying truthful stuff. They were just reporting. I think they brought back Brian Stetler. They brought him back at a greatly reduced price. I think he's on CNN. But I always thought he was fairly honest, even though he's very left. But all of a sudden they start seeing a spike in views. This past weekend, Jen Psaki on her primetime show, and she's a former Speaker of the House, and she was a political advisor for Obama, 28,000 views. Prime time.
Yeah,
dude,
because Jen Psaki,
that's not even a small podcast listens.
Dude, Jen Psaki is just spewing garbage. Right?
Terrible.
She's gonna stick, and here's the thing. I'm gonna give you my opinion. All right, but there comes the difference between giving your opinion and what's actually going on. Right? the thing with Psaki is she's always been hard left. Just look at when she was the press secretary, right? The same garbage coming out of her mouth there. It's the same trash, and people are tired of it. And MSNBC, they want to have that recommunication, because here's the thing. I think these networks are starting to panic, because we've talked about it. Their license they get to broadcast costs them nothing. Trump's a wild card, dude. He can come in there. And like I said, I would do this. You want to broadcast? Not a problem. There's your license. $1 billion.
Yeah.
Right. Help out the American people, because the 1% need to be taxed. Hey, this is how we do it. Right. We're going to start with you. I think they're worried, because that falls under federal powers. Right. They don't have to grant them a broadcasting license.
Dude, here's another way to think about it too. Like some of these far left, radical progressive YouTube channels that are very, very popular. Some of them are very, very popular. They're doing, tens of thousands of dollars a day in ad revenue, right? They started panicking. They're losing thousands and thousands of ad revenue dollars every day, because people are bailing and they're not watching, right? So one kid said he had $10,000 a day. He's by himself. He's like an operation like you and me. $10,000 a day on ad revenue, down to 2 in 2 days, right?
Yep.
That's a small operation.
Was he a lefty?
He was a far left, so he started hemorrhaging subscribers and followers and paying members. But my point is, and then I want to hear what you think.
Yep.
These media companies are huge, huge operations. And if these kids are losing that kind of a ratio of ad revenue, what do you think the MSNBCs and the CNNs and all these, they're ABCs, they're just crushing? Nobody's watching.
Well, nobody's watching. They're hemorrhaging, but I think here's the thing. The Dems were pumping them money. So the Harris campaign, last truthful word that came out of the DNC was they were 1.5 billion in the hole, right? They overspent 1.5 billion. Now, were they supplementing the propaganda channels? I don't know. But I think part of the change or shift, were they being, and we know we know this for a fact, because when you're all saying the same thing, somebody's feeding you the narrative. Did the government narrative kind of cease after Trump got elected? Hey, our propaganda didn't work. And now reality's starting to come in, because I got it. You can be on the left side. Are you an extreme left, or are you just kind of leaning left? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the news channels are supposed to ride in the middle. And I think they're getting called out where, hey man, it's a sink or swim. It's kind of like newsprint, right? Dude, who's getting a newspaper anymore? Very few. And I think they saw, especially with, the president of the United States going on something like Rogan, Sean Ryan, right? Hey man, how many times have we had Trump on here, right? Like Trump said, ABC, go piss off. You want to sit there and cook the freaking debates?
Yeah. Well, Jeff Bezos was kind of in front of this a little bit with his newspaper. Was he have the Washington Post or the Washington Times, one of them?
Yeah.
I think it's the Washington Post. But anyway, he's like, hey, look, we got to get this legitimacy back. So I think their concern right now is that they are so delegitimized by how they've been acting and pushing the lies. They're not just saying lies and thinking that that's the truth. They're pushing these things, and they're continuing to push for the last for decade. So they're afraid that they're just not going to get those viewers back, which means they're at risk of losing those ad dollars, because Fox can only run so many ads.
Yeah.
Sky News can only run so many ads. Once those slots are full and people are going to be rushing to those folks, it's just going to be a disaster when it comes to their money. They're not going to be able to do it. They're paying those the talent on some of them shows millions of dollars a year. What's her face? Rachel Maddow, $30 million a year for 1 day a week.
Yeah.
$30 million a year. They can't afford it. I know. And some of the talent, I mean, you saw the decline in the talent over the past year or so, because they just can't afford it. They're going to have to dump those folks. I mean, you look at Anderson Cooper. Okay. The guy's good on TV. Joe and Micah, they're good on TV. They just got to change their stuff up. But it's not going to happen if you're not getting those ad dollars, and you're just going to have to. Dude, someone's going to buy that. I think who owns it now? Comcast for MSNBC.
So. Yeah, I can't keep track of all who's got what, but no, you're spot on, man. You're spot on.
Bezos, I think, owns. Does he own CNN? Or no, he owns one of them, but or Amazon owns it. They're probably thinking, what the hell am I going to do with this? I mean, it's not making no money. They're going to have to start firing people. So I don't want anybody to lose your job. I don't want anybody canceled. However, buddy, you keep shooting yourself in the foot. There's nothing I can do for you.
Here's the problem. For those of us that grew up pre-social media, you had expectations out of your news outlets. Okay. Who broke Watergate? Wasn't somebody sending a tweet doing independent, it was a news agency, right?
Old school journalist, investigative journalism. Yeah.
Yep. We used to have faith in those guys. That faith is gone. Right. And really, I think that the China virus is what pushed it over the edge, because all you did was pump fear into people with zero backings. And then in turn, the social media platforms kind of fell in with that government hook, line, and sinker line. Like, nobody's got any faith in that crap anymore. And it's your independent news sources, for lack of better terms, that people, I believe, are going to try to get that information. Hey, man, what's the facts on this? What's the facts on that? Right. I don't need skewed. I don't need you to sit there and go, what's a major news organization going, Trump's a freaking a fascist, right? He's a racist. Where's the proof? Show me the proof. Right. And it was funny because I think it was Charlie Kirk was doing his little campus tour there. Right. And
shout out to that guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy. Ben Shapiro and those guys.
Yeah. Same question that Elon asked BBC. Well, Trump's a racist. Well, give me an example.
Yeah.
Right. You can't even answer what a woman is. Forget about what a racist is, what a fascist is, and it's mind boggling that we've incorporated these words into certain people or going, oh, well, Trump's a racist. Trump's a freaking fascist. Trump's Hitler. Okay. Give me something. Show me the juice. Oh, Twitter, since Elon's taken it, it's increased in hate speech. Well, show me a tweet. Let me see something. How did get through, right? And these platforms need to please, like you see the Dems going, oh, there's got to be better control. Well, number one, they police themselves under no control. So you can sit there and deactivate a page like Warhawk Tactical because you don't agree, because whether I'm veteran-owned, too American, whatever, right? Where's the control in that? You can say it's a private company. There's no policing, but yet he's the number one platform for trafficking kids. And nobody bats. There's no prosecution. I mean, I think it's a matter of time before, you can sit there and deactivate mine for whatever. But I think, I think it was 42 attorney generals looked at it specifically, Meta, going, yeah, there's some dramas there. Maybe some time for, old Zuckerberg to spend some time behind bars and think about his wrongs that he's been doing.
I mean, those news agencies and those newspapers have moved so far to the left, and they've lost so much stock with the American voter. And we don't, I mean, we can't really talk about everybody, but we can certainly talk about the American voter because, it was decisive. But even 100%. You have like the Young Turks who are left leaning for sure, but I always watch them because I do believe they're honest. I think Cenk Uygur is a little more to the left than like Ana Kasparian, but even they were saying, look, guys, you can't call everybody that went to Madison Square Garden a racist, a Nazi. You can't keep doing that because they're not. They're just not. Ana Kasparian says, you can't call me a birthing person. It's offensive. You can't keep doing this. They just wouldn't listen. So the reason why I'm setting this up so that you can knock it out of the park is do you believe, I don't believe that Mika Brzezinski, I can't remember her name, I think, but from Morning Joe, you can't tell me and that she believes that Donald Trump is a Nazi, right? I don't believe it. I don't believe that Joe Scarborough thinks he's a Nazi. So why are they saying it? Do you believe that they thought that more than half of the country believed it, or just because he was saying it? Or do you think they just believed it and he was just saying what they wanted to hear? Because it just doesn't make sense.
I think somebody was feeding them propaganda and they're just putting words out. So you
so
want
he's
to
just
say
reading the teleprompter.
Pretty much. You want to say he's a Nazi, okay? A National Socialist, right? Do you even know what a Nazi means, right? So everyone associates Nazis with the Holocaust. Yes, they committed that. But when you look at what the Nazi party was, the National Socialists, right? People don't even know that. You look at, fascist, right? What's the history between fascist and the freaking Italians, right? Mussolini. Nobody knows. Like, they're throwing words out there that nobody knows. He's a racist. Well, show me an example, right? You get some dumbass telling us that we're fascist because we don't agree or we can't see any of your policies, right? You're a fascist. How am I a fascist, right? Articulate. What have I done to show you anything that's a fascist? So they're just these buzzwords, in my opinion, that the mainstream propaganda machine has put out there in that whole fear mongering, and it's not even educating, it's just propagandizing against, and people fall for it. And that to me, that to me is the problem. It's the propaganda machine, right? Because Trump is not a politician. He's not on the take. He's not on the buy. So what do you get with the career politician? Oh, you get Joe Biden selling us out to China, right? Communist China. Nobody bats an eye, right? It's mind-boggling that the American people can't step back and go, hey, dude, how is it all of these politicians go up to Washington, D.C.? Prime example, AOC. AOC went up there, net worth $20,000. Her net worth was $20,000 when she started. She's a multimillionaire. How does that happen? Right? And she's only making $175,000 a year.
Yeah.
So on top of living everything else, you become a multimillionaire. Scratch your head on that one, people. So it's just the fear mongering of, you have a outsider who took a $1 billion net worth loss to be president for 4 years because he believes in this country. He believes in you, the American people. Yet everyone wants to sit there and cut their throat because of the narrative, because he's not in the take. He's going to do the right things. He's going to make us great again. And people are scared, right?
Yeah.
You look at the military industrial complex. Oh, we're going to stop having conflict, or I'm going to lose money. Oh, who cares? Right? It's mind boggling that all this stuff is interwoven. And your average, person can't kind of step back and go, does that make sense? Right? Draw your own conclusions. The only thing the news should be telling you, right, is, okay, hey, today Trump announced, here's his new policy. Bum, 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 bum. Right? Kamala says she's going to have an opportunity economy, but we don't know what that opportunity economy means. Boom. That's reporting the news. Right?
And you hit the nail on the head. It's like, how does that happen with AOC? I mean, I don't know, but I can tell you one thing. I'm not going to let any of these politicians off the hook. I don't really care for any of them, brother. That's why all these cabinet positions that they're posting, that's why the establishment don't like them, because they aren't that, just like Donald Trump is not that, and they aren't going to fall for it. RFK Jr. has no skin in the game. He is a wealthy man. He's old money in that family. He wants to do this. He's passionate about, raising the level of health in kids and the fitness. So people can wrap their arms around that, and they're like, hey man, I'm not down with this anymore. I do truly feel bad for those who either aren't taking in the information and being able to do something with it, who are being lied to by these folks. I do. I feel bad for them because they're scared. Some of them are legitimately scared that these things are going to happen.
Sure.
And they take no responsibility for that. And they take no responsibility for that when someone who is radicalized, let's call it what it is, radicalized by this media, and then acts on it and takes a shot at the president.
Yeah. And then you want to have big tech not have it searchable. Google wants to sit there and go assassination attempt of.
Yep.
Donald Duck, really? Give that's all by design. You got Google sitting there going, oh, why should I vote for Donald Trump? Can't tell you. Why should I vote for Kamala? Oh, Kamala Harris. Blah, 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 blah. It's all manipulation. And I think the American people, let's think about it. The truth is coming out about old Fauci and his lies, right? All these backdoor, hey, we're going to fear them into getting the vaccine and all the repercussions thereof. We've been lied to. The American people's been bamboozled by the establishment. And we're realizing as the truth starts to come out, right? Not misinformation, because the government and the news outlets straight up lied to you people. Put on a mask. You had laws broken. You can't have governors superseding legislation by doing executive orders, not held accountable, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff that went on here. And to me, that was the whole downfall of the country, of the people, of the news outlets, was when the old China virus hit, they were just pumping out propaganda. And people get scared, right? And they believe it. But you have to step back, people, and go, hey, man, where's the common sense, right? And I don't care who you are. I don't care what your education level is. And I'm putting that in quotes for my freaking listeners, right? Education doesn't make you smart. So to me, just being an Army guy, right? Hey, I got to stay 6 feet away from Mark. That's telling me, hey, this thing's got a short lifespan. But then all of a sudden it gets magical powers on stainless steel, and stop the madness, man.
Paper. They didn't want you sending packages.
Yeah. It's like does not compute. But I say all that because to me, that set the foundation for these propaganda machines to keep pumping the propaganda from whoever was telling them to pump the propaganda. Like you said, the old school investigative journalism isn't there. That is all at the lower level, for lack of better terms, or let's just say the non-legacy, right? You got these podcast shows, deep diving, looking into stuff, these independent journalisms, these non-legacy news channels, deep diving into things. And oh, by the way, the dirt they're pulling up. Hey, ABC, NBC, CBS, how come you guys weren't reporting? CNN, how come you weren't reporting? But you have all these other subsets doing it.
The treatment, the assassination attempts, all these things, the targeting by the DOJ, all these things happening to this guy. People, like you said, they're smart. Americans are smart. They're like, hey, man, why do you think they're doing that to this guy?
Yep.
Because I was only paying $2 a gallon for gas then. What did he, he was never convicted of anything. And these 34 charges and all that other stuff. I mean, I know that judgment's supposed to come out here the next day or not, whether that's going to happen up in New York, but I think it's all going to be dropped because I just don't think there's any way in the world it's going to happen. They'll just appeal it until he passes away, to be honest with you, to be 100% honest with you. So, it's not what the American people want. This judge is not smart enough to realize that. The American people have spoken, and it just is what it is. But you have to ask yourself, why would they want to be going after this guy that hard? If they got the best candidate, hey, let's go to the ballot box and let's hear the policies. This is my country. I vote, and they showed for it. So, and one last thing, man. When I saw the president elect walk into that UFC this weekend, dude, the beautiful thing about that, there was Democrats who voted for Kamala Harris and they were all just jovial and freaking having fun and, hey, great campaign. I didn't vote for it. They would joke about it, but hey, they're Americans and that's all that matters. And he's going to do his best for that guy too. Jelly Roll, I know, was there and he was supporting Kamala, but it shook his hand like a man.
Here's the thing. Did he really? Or was he on the take of going, you either support her?
Are you on the take if they're paying you? If they're just paying you, are you on the take, or is that is that legal? Because
I mean,
I don't know.
I got solicited by her, right? To
that's right.
That's
right.
I mean, you're not even looking at who you're soliciting. You're just mass soliciting, going, "Hey, we'll pay you $200 to do that, dude. Go beat it." But here's my point. You look at old Joe when they sat down. Joe was happy, go lucky.
Dude.
Hey, Donald, here to help you, right?
Congratulations.
Yeah. You got Bill Clinton coming out going, hey, man, our messaging wasn't there. We weren't putting the best foot forward. We weren't listening to the American people, right? He was in Georgia going, if we had stiff border policies, Laken Riley would be alive today. Ouch.
Buddy, I'm going to tell you right now, Joe and Jill Biden voted for Trump.
Oh, you're damn right.
Take that to the bank.
They did. Yep. They cast that vote and go, Trump, boom. Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, it was great. But when he walked in that UFC, I felt happy for even the folks that didn't vote for Trump. I was happy for everybody.
You just
felt good as an American, and we know that feeling.
Here's it's not to the super extent of 9/12, right? But
no,
there's something, you're seeing something come together. And I think what you're going to see, January 20th be a powerful day where this exchange of power, people are going to be ecstatic. People are going to be, poof. Now, the Republicans got to deliver. You got the executive branch, you got the House and Senate. You've got to deliver the deliverables to the American people. We're waiting on it, right?
Yeah.
We're you can't screw this one up. It's yours to screw it up.
It's yours to mess up. That's right.
Yep. You can't have the infighting. You can't have that other stuff. But I am excited for January 20th for those executive orders to come into place, to start seeing change. And I think there's going to be some big change. I want to see what Elon's going to clean out. And people are panicking, right? All these cats that are used to greasing the skids and getting their pockets lined, they're panicking because they know for the next 4 years. And here's the thing, clean it out, expose them. If you're dirty, hey, Pelosi, you better pack your bags, girlfriend, right? Because we know you're doing insider trading.
Well, here's another thing too.
Yeah.
If there's any unelected bureaucrats who are disruptive, get rid of them.
Yeah.
Zero tolerance. Yeah. If you don't do exactly what we say, when we say it, as we want it to be done, you're gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're gone.
And it's not,
he doesn't have time.
No. And it's not political witch hunting, right? The Dems all want to go, no one's above the law. Cool. Then Dems, go turn yourself in because you're all guilty, right? You're all a bunch of crooks from the top to the bottom, and you've all proven it. So, politics aside, it's going to be 2025 is going to be a great year. Big things coming for Warhawk Tactical, Kelly Defense. If you guys aren't signed up,
we'll get to that on another show because
but I just want to let cats know you better jump on them newsletters because we got big things coming out. And the only way you're really going to be dialed in, obviously subscribing to On the Range podcast will definitely keep you tuned in that way.
Yeah.
But those newsletters, man, because that's the only way that we can truly get the word out, because big tech has it suppressed. And if you don't believe it, swing by the IG pages. You'll see the proof because we stuck them up there. Right there. Zuck's not hiding it. We're not showing your stuff to non-followers. Thanks, buddy. Greatly appreciated.
So anyway, go to those websites and sign up for those memberships in the little members areas, and sign up for those newsletters, and you'll be in the loop because we got something coming up. I think it's going to be a pretty sizable group, but it's going to be small enough that you're going to want to engage with everybody. We're going to have the range day coming up this year. A lot of things coming up too. So yeah, buddy, great show. A lot to talk about, but the media stuff, and it's fascinating. And, to close on one thought, and give me your piece. If the news media turns around and they just start reporting and doing good journalism, and then the Democrats come around and they have a just a slight difference of opinion, and they're not separated by much, and you have that 2-party, and you have close races every time, dude, I'm okay with that. That's what we want. We want the best person, and we want the American people to decide. And then we start to have these razor thin, 2 great candidates, just with something a little bit different on each side. That's when you're going to come up with the best person. And you got to hear their policies, and you got to hear, it's got to be transparent.
I agree, but there's one key piece to that missing, Mark, and that is we the people, right? These elected officials,
it's our choice.
Right. But here's my point. These elected officials are supposed to be acting on behalf of their constituents. They don't, right? It's all about me and we and this and that. No. If I'm sitting there as an elected official, okay, it shouldn't be anything. It should be the people of North Carolina's District X vote this. But it's not. We've missed that. That's the critical key piece, right? So I'm not a super fan of Dems and Republicans because you're either right or left. No. This is, and I can't stand that because that causes division right there. These elected officials are supposed to be acting on behalf of their constituents.
Yeah.
Now I got it. If you're a far left Fruit Loop, cool. You live in LA, roger that. That's the guy to vote for, right? If you're anywhere else in a sane part of your mind, hey man, this is my values. My values should line up with your values, right? But we run these hard lines that to me make zero sense. So that is the key piece, in my opinion. Are they actually taking the constituents' best interest, or are they taking their personal so that they can put millions of dollars in their pocket? Be a quote unquote multimillionaire public servant. AOC, look at her numbers. Prime example. She's probably came in with the lowest at 20K. She's a multimillionaire. Let that sink in, America. Let that one sink in.
Yep. Because man, I don't trust any of them. I just don't trust any of them.
Except
and yep. The ones who aren't career politicians, those are the only ones I trust. And the thing is you got these leftoids who are coming in and saying, well, I've always felt that I didn't want my daughter playing sports. Bro, you voted for it. Yep. You voted for it.
You voted
Here's
for
the roll
that.
Call.
You voted for
it. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Who's that guy from South Dakota, that Democrat? He's full of crap. I'll do a fact check on myself and get his name put out there. He voted for gender affirming surgeries. So
all the Dems, all the Dems voted down the SAFE Act. I mean, all these things, by the way, all the states that didn't require IDs, Kamala won. Great job, girlfriend. I wonder how.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Crew members, stand by. Everybody else, you want to go ahead and close it out, Rick? Close it out.
You know it, guys. Hey, here's the deal. You guys train hard, stay safe, and we'll see you on the range.
Oh, yeah.